Hey, everybody. It's Wednesday, and you know what that means. Yes, that's right. It's time for the 100th episode of Sarcastic Distractions. Featuring, as always, the Gentleman's Society of Podcasting. Myself, Harvey. My heterosexual life mate, David.
Hello.
And the ever-loving, ever-expanding AJ.
Ever expanding? I take offense to that.
No, he's just getting older. 100 episodes. Oy.
It's a long
Like
time.
I've seen.
Ever,
Look at the
ever
gray.
expanding.
Could have been your mind. It doesn't have to be.
Oh, well, okay. Then
Yeah,
I don't
coulda-
take
I'm
offense
trying
to
to-
that.
when was the last
Could have been your
time?
toe.
No, here's a good question. When was the last time you think you weighed 100 pounds?
Oh,
Oh,
fuck.
Jesus.
Definitely, maybe teenager, early teenager.
I'm gonna say
Definitely.
like 12.
Yeah, that's what I was.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was thinking
I would.
that too.
Yeah,
I might be
I'm gonna
about the
say
same.
12.
I honestly have zero clue memory.
Maybe 13, 14. Yeah.
Yeah, but I
Yeah.
think it'd be the
12
same.
and 14.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, are we talking just due to sheer development or because of malnourishment? Because they're very different reasons why you might be
For
100 pounds.
me, I guess it would be development.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
okay.
think. Yeah, I'm just thinking more.
Metabolism.
When was the last time you were 100 pounds? This is kind of the way I was
Okay.
phrasing
I
it.
was 150 pounds up until 8 years ago.
Okay.
And then I had to take like painkillers that fucked with my shit.
Mm.
Womp womp.
And then
Lame.
literally one day I woke up and went,
Were you ever expanding?
I was ever expanding. Yeah.
I have to admit, I've been fairly consistent in my weight for a long time. Like I've been a 160 to 180 kind of guy.
I
Pretty
wish, man. I wish.
I was, and then I hit my 20s.
Yeah.
Then that went out the window. But I would say from like, I feel like the age of 14 or 15 until early 20s. Yeah, I was 140 pounds, 150 pounds.
Oh yeah, when I was younger, again, and everybody talks about this, and I do remember it myself. I could eat like 10 pounds of chicken
Oh,
wings,
yeah.
2
Right?
pizzas,
No problem.
French
Right?
fries, 20 beers,
Yeah.
and I'd wake up the next day feeling fine and not gain a pound.
Yeah. All of
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
No,
now
that-
I think about pizza.
Well, that's kind of what happened to me because I had to take. I had got first when I was first figuring out the whole chronic back pain thing. I
Yes.
was going to this pain management clinic down the road, and they gave me this one thing that cut off your full signal
Mm.
from my brain to my stomach,
Okay.
and yeah, I just
There you go.
yeah.
In case you couldn't figure it out today, well, kind of sort of
It's kind
talking
of a
about
general-
it a
it's
little
kind of a
bit.
general,
Hey,
it
we-
was a generalish discussion.
Totally
today.
on topic.
Agreed. For our 100th episode, we're talking about all things 100. What does that mean? Well, it means we're keeping it 100. That's what we're doing. And we're just going to talk about
as the
everything.
kids would say.
Exactly. The kids would say. Actually, the old people now, I'm sure the kids don't even say
That's
that
true.
anymore.
That's
yeah.
true.
Yeah.
That's true.
They say something way cooler and fresh
Right?
than
They
that.
say,
Did they even use
they say
fresh?
keeping it bibbly bots.
Yeah, something like that.
Right.
Exactly.
Oh.
Keeping it Google. I don't know. Whatever.
that is a number.
Yeah. But good job, Dave, for bringing 100 pounds in for sure. That's
hey,
a great way
a
to
number
start
came
this.
up, and so it's
I love it.
if
Yep.
we're going to talk about a number, what do you think of that number being
For sure.
100?
Yeah. Well, let's just real quickly cheers our glasses. And
Oh,
a
yes,
clink,
yes.
clink, clink. We made it
Clinkety,
to
clink,
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 Cheers
clink,
our
clink,
bubbly
clink.
cans.
Our
Yep.
bubbly bubblies.
Making it to 100 episodes. And thank you out there for having a good time with us over these last 100 episodes. Now, just for context sake, technically, there was a couple of other episodes, but we're not going to count those.
No.
For good reason. So this is
This
our
is the
official.
this is the
real-
100th episode in the Dave years.
the era, the Dave era. Yeah, exactly.
And that's what counts. That's what we're counting.
That's
Because
right.
It's the Dave era. It counts.
Well,
Oh, it's always the Dave era.
he would be the cheese sauce to our chili dog. You know what I
That's
mean?
right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there we
yeah.
go. Yeah, that's a good that one.
well, it's because we're
Working
both
out
so
his head.
spicy and you're so cheesy.
He's so smooth and cheesy.
As long as I'm the good cheesy sauce, not that
Oh,
salty
yeah.
shit.
Oh,
that-
okay. Yeah, I was
yeah,
gonna say,
no,
I'm sure
no.
if I called his wife and asked him and said, "Is Dave cheesy?" She'd be like, "Yeah."
You're like the 7-Eleven
She might
cheesy.
say salty, but
Yeah. You're
So that's
definitely-
like because that was good.
the nacho
fake
cheesy.
cheese.
Yeah,
that was like
yeah,
good
yeah,
fake
no.
cheese. Whereas
Yeah.
movie theater, no, that's a little.
Oh,
too
that's not
salty.
cool.
No,
No,
that's like
no.
orange salt.
That's like
Yeah.
I've had too many drinks. I don't care. Just give me the nacho cheese. That's really
Yeah.
what that cheese is. You know, no one eats that stuff with a normal sense of brain. So back to being
even drunk. I don't think I would, but nonetheless, yeah. Back
Good
to
call,
100.
good call.
Back to 100.
For
Sorry.
sure, for sure. So yeah, well, we just talked about the last time we were 100 pounds. Let's talk about these. Let's talk about these last 100 episodes. How we feeling so far?
Oh God, people won't stop talking for F's sakes
I'll
about
say.
random shit constantly.
Constantly nonsense going
I was
on.
really hoping we could have just one episode. We stayed on topic, had a great deep discussion that was really trying to explore the different possibilities within this universe. I
Yeah.
got nothing.
I feel like out of 100 episodes, there hasn't been one time where we've stayed on topic.
for an
That's true.
entire episode.
Yeah.
For an entire episode.
Well,
was there an
no,
entire episode other than general?
There's-
And then, well, the Star Wars, Star Trekky ones, we kind of did actually.
We know, but we definitely veered, and I would say we were pulling to stay on topic a lot more than we do currently.
Yeah.
For sure. Right. But we were
Those
more
were the
on, I'd say
closest.
we're closest. I
Those
think
were
you're
the
right. I
closest.
think you're right.
Yeah,
Those
yeah.
when we were like, okay, we're pointed. Let's do our notes.
Yeah, we
Let's
do a
get our
little
stuff out.
whoosh.
Let's
Yeah.
do this, and then
Notes. God, when was the last time you made notes for? Actually, I have
Well,
done it
I have.
recently.
Actually,
I did today.
Actually, I write.
made some.
I
made
do
some.
personal notes all the time for our episodes, especially if it's one I planned. That's why I know we're gonna go
Yeah.
off of. But
I honestly didn't do any for this. I just 100.
just
It's the
100.
magic
Just
number.
100.
Well, it's a specific 100 topic. It's
Right.
it's a specific. It's not
Yes.
just
Let's
things that are 100 of things.
Yeah, let's talk
Oh,
about.
Really? I really want to talk the things that are hundreds of things, but we'll do that after.
Do that too. Yeah. Oh,
Did
man,
you
this
know
is not a
that
fun
in
joke.
the UK and in other places other than North America, they call sprinkles hundreds and thousands?
sprinkles like as in
Like in ice cream sprinkles?
Really?
Yeah.
no, never heard of that before.
Or not even in the States. I think in the States they call them either sprinkles in certain spots or jimmies.
I've heard the Jimmy's thing, but I thought that was
in,
like a specific candy.
In
huh?
the UK and in Australia and shit, they call them hundreds and thousands. Because
Okay.
there's hundreds and thousands.
Oh, yeah.
of them.
That's really kind of weird, but
That seems like a very British thing to say. You know what I mean?
I'd like hundreds and
hundreds.
thousands.
Hundreds.
please.
Oh, look, can I have hundreds of thousands on,
Well,
my,
it's-
on my donut, please?
It's like there's a TikTok series. There's this one woman where I'm pretty sure she's from the UK, and she'll be like, in this instance, we call them hundreds of thousands because there's hundreds of thousands of them, and then it's a cut. And in the US, we call them sprinkles because you sprinkle them on things.
It's
Of course,
quintessential
if I
American.
I have to admit now, when I get my ass finally out to there, and I ask for, I please, can I? Yeah, I'd like. Oh, would you like some hundreds and thousands? Oh, yes, please.
So what
Yeah.
you do?
And then they put it on. I only see like 60. Come on.
there's only
I'm gonna need more than that.
in where is it? Australia. There's at the birthday parties. You know how like birthday cake in North
Mhm.
America or Western culture is kind of like the thing. Like
Yeah.
if you don't have a birthday cake, kids are like, what the fuck's this party all about?
Yeah, what the hell?
Adults are
That's changing a bit, but
different.
anyway, continue.
Like I'm a pie guy, so if you give me pie for my birthday, I'd rather have that than a cake.
Yeah.
But in Australia,
I'll take presents.
the big thing is called fairy bread.
Okay.
And what it is it's
Hmm.
white bread, like Wonder Bread,
Yeah.
with icing
Yeah.
and sprinkles.
Uh,
Apparently, that's like if you don't have that at your birthday party in Australia, that was not a good birthday party when you were a
See,
kid.
you could tell they are from a prison colony. Like, that's their. That's
I knew that was going to come out of your mouth.
like obviously it's like, oh, this is a delight. It's like a poor kid thinking craft dinner hot dog's the best thing in the
Well,
world.
I mean,
of course you would,
you
because
got-
you don't know
You
better.
got fairy bread and Vegemite. So I mean,
So why? Listen, we got your nice birthday meal here. we got you some Vegemite. Now you eat it all in one bite, son. Now we got you some fairy bread. It's just a fucking sugar and icing on a
it
fucking
is
piece of bread.
on white bread.
Yeah.
It's
Do
not
they even toast
it's not
it?
even that. No,
Oh my gosh!
no, because it's supposed to, I guess, replicate like cake,
I get, yeah.
right?
I mean, well, you think about what is cake? Cake is
I got
fresh
part of me,
sugar.
Sweet bread
sweet
Yeah,
bread, and
so
part of
yeah,
me, I have to
with
admit,
icing.
I'm kind of like, I almost just want to try it just to know.
Should next week I'm gonna bring some icing.
No.
Bring some icing and some hundreds. Of
I
thousands.
I would try it. Like it's like
And some
what
white
do you
bread.
fuck to call it? Nutella, shit
Oh, yeah,
like
yeah.
that. I am not a fan
Oh.
of Nutella. My kids fucking love it.
I
Yeah.
used to be down with the Nutella, but
Yeah,
I think they've changed it since it's become way more popular. Because when we were kids,
yeah,
it was like if you had Nutella, it was like holy fuck,
Mm.
you got fucking Nutella on your shit. But now it's like
Oh yeah,
interchangeable with peanut butter.
Yeah,
right?
that's
Like,
true. Yep.
So
It's
I'm wondering-
it's more accepted in households for sure.
So I'm wondering if the
something's changed.
the
maybe.
mass producing of it, they've had to scale back on certain ingredients that made it taste
Yeah, maybe.
for
certain
sure.
ways.
Yeah.
You know what's funny about Nutella or any of that stuff? I won't eat it unless it's with peanut butter.
Really, I've
Mhm.
never had Nutella and peanut butter, but that is an interesting.
Come on, sir.
I don't think it would be bad.
You got to get on
I
it.
mean, it's chocolate,
Yeah.
it's hazelnuts,
Yeah.
and it's peanuts.
Yeah.
How can that be?
It's
Because chocolate
delicious.
and peanut butter is good. Hazelnuts and peanuts are probably good together.
Yep.
And I'm sure if you mush them all
Yeah.
together, it
In
would
fact,
be horrible.
The taste is tainted me so much that I don't want Nutella without peanut butter.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, will you eat peanut butter without Nutella?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Okay.
It's peanut butter.
It's,
Oh, no.
it's just the Nutella without peanut
That's
butter.
insane talk, AJ. Of course I
Now, do you eat that gross peanut butter that you have to stir every time?
I
you fucking
do.
eat it?
Yeah.
Oh, you people
yeah.
are gross.
Well, because I'm eating like all natural shit.
Adam's peanut butter.
No.
No,
That's
I-
the brand my parents used to always. Eat.
Just-
I'd be like,
I-
what the fuck is it?
I have to admit, I have fallen more in love with just it's peanuts.
Yep.
That's it. No
That's me too.
sugars, no butters.
Maybe now that I'm older, I
Try
might
it.
think differently if I tried it.
So
you do have to put it upside down,
Yeah.
shake it. And
Yeah,
stir
or
it.
like
Exactly.
stir it up. Yeah, because
Yeah.
it separates.
Yeah.
Right?
Are you guys using the Kraft one, Dave?
To be honest with you,
You
use
don't know?
whatever's the cheapest.
Yeah. I got the Kraft one. You do the whole stir around, and then you stick it upside down in your fridge. When you're about to use it, take it out. Maybe I don't know, 5 or 10 minutes. Perfect.
Oh yeah.
yeah,
perfect.
yeah. That's the other thing. Always in the fridge.
Always in the fridge.
Yeah.
Always.
I might-
Which
Yeah,
is
that
weird
would
because
make
we never
more
did that as
sense.
kids.
Oh
We
God,
never-
no! As kids, no,
Yeah,
fuck
no.
no.
So
No, I never eat it.
I've got I think I got 3 jars of peanut butter in my fridge right now.
Holy
Yeah.
fuck.
Okay, that's actually
Man,
a bit of a challenge.
okay.
Well, there's different
Don't
kinds.
make it to
First of all,
100.
I was gonna-
Do not make it to
I was
100.
gonna say,
Try.
first of all, that's a lot for somebody who's essentially a bachelor right now.
Sure.
B, I eat peanut butter. My wife eats peanut butter. My kid eats peanut butter like 3 times a day.
Okay.
We usually have 1 jar.
I have to tell you, I have
One
3
jar.
different kinds.
And we don't keep our peanut butter in the fridge.
Well,
Well,
no, but you have the
we got
the,
yeah.
whatever it
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that one's okay because it has the oils and all that in it.
Yeah.
it's more preservatives. And
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah, and if we're not using it, then it goes in the. If we haven't used it yet, then it goes in the cupboard. It's only when we've started using
But
it.
if you were, let me ask this question because
Sure.
I get why the natural stuff.
Sure.
But if you had a jar of, fucking Jif or Kraft, would you still put it in the fridge? After opening
I don't think
it?
so, no.
After opening it.
No. The only reason why we're really keeping it in the fridge is so that it doesn't separate longer.
Doesn't
why.
separate.
Is it easier to
Yeah.
stir it up if it's colder because the oil's thicker? Like it's not as
I personally,
together.
my style personally, that has generally worked is that, when I get it from the store, if I'm going to open it, you shake it, you stir it, do all that 90, have your first slice and fun, put it in the fridge, and then, I find it doesn't separate too much.
Yeah. The reason why I have 3 is because I have 3 different kinds.
Oh, okay.
I got
That doesn't
smooth.
absolve you, but nonetheless,
That's
continue.
fine. Oh, if you guys got
Absolve
like
you.
if you got like 97 other ones, let me know. I'll stick them in my fridge as well. But I have smooth, which is mainly for Jackson, so Jackson can have some peanut butter when my dog wants some, and I got like a thing that I give him peanut butter with. Then I got a honey and peanut butter flavor that I very much like, and then I got crunchy for those days that I need some.
Oh, okay.
Some
Honey
peanuts.
and peanut butter. Like I do enjoy honey and peanut butter together.
I do as well.
Remember Goobers?
No.
It was peanut butter. It was made by Schmuckers.
Oh yeah, never
but
a fan.
it had jelly in it.
Couldn't
or
do it.
jam in it.
Couldn't do it.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was
I don't know.
interspersed with
Yep.
with jam and
It's funny. Peanut butter
Oh,
jelly
yeah,
sandwiches, love them.
too-
Would never eat that shit.
well, it's because whatever they're calling peanut butter in that product, I would just call it peanut spread or or something because it's weird.
Yeah.
It's not
Hmm.
it's not right.
I remember seeing that stuff. Do you remember that where they would?
I have a vague maybe recollection, but
you can only get into I think you can only get in the States now.
I wouldn't want it anyway.
And
It's
even though we want
I
them
mean-
to be, peanut butter is not a sponsor. But if they, by all means,
peanut butter in general.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Peanut butter in general. If you want to be a sponsor,
But if you
that'd be-
want to be peanut butter, you're more than welcome to sponsor us. Absolutely.
yeah, oh yeah,
Give us an
please.
email, please. We'd appreciate it. Yeah.
By the way, we expect 100 jars of the.
Oh,
peanut
yeah,
At least,
100
at
jars of
least.
peanut butter.
Yeah,
At
yeah.
least.
Plus, this keeps us on
For
topic.
sure.
Win.
So it took us 100 episodes to get to our 20s of fans. That's where we're at now.
We have 20s.
We're
of
past
fans
10s
now.
of fans to our 20s of fans.
Nice.
How many episodes until we get to 100 of fans?
Hundreds of fans. Hundreds. 800s
Eight
of
hundreds
fans.
of
800. Once we
Hundreds
hit
of
that
fans.
magic
Well,
mark.
if you do the math,
Yeah.
We got a little bit to go. I
Because
think.
it was
another
we did
9 years or so?
Yeah, we did 100 episodes in almost 3 years.
Oh yeah, another 100 maybe. Count the one, and then there's the carrying of the 17.
which is funny because I always thought before, like, sitcoms would be like, it's our 100th episode, and they're in like season 4.
Yeah,
It's like, how did it take you that long to get to 100 if
Well-
you go every week? But I know there's breaks. And
right.
there's the
They only do
summer and-
typically sitcoms only do 22.
But even still, with us
episode
doing
seasons.
it every week and missing maybe, I think we've missed 1 week in the entire over Christmas.
2, 3.
3. Yeah,
No.
Yeah, in
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
2-3 years we've missed 2 or 3.
weeks, but we
But
made
it
up
still,
for them.
it still felt like it took a long time.
Yeah.
to
Oh,
get
it
to
still
100.
did. Yeah,
It's
yeah.
taken us over 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
you know,
yeah.
so it's been
That's crazy.
It is kind of crazy.
how
Yeah.
long it takes you to get to 100 doing something once a week.
Yeah, but
Well,
hey, if we show anything,
We
it's
already know the number to
consistency.
that.
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
Say what again?
I said I have a suspicion of about how many episodes there are in a year. A suspicion. You know.
That's suspicion. If we're doing the
How?
weekly. Okay.
If this is that fancy math stuff that you guys have been talking about for the past 100 episodes, I'm out. I don't want to have this
Jeez.
discussion. If that's what it is, I'll just accept it.
That's right. AJ says we have to stop talking about educational things on the
Fucking
podcast.
Damn
We gotta stop it. We gotta stop
educations.
it. We gotta stop it.
Speaking of educations, hey, let's talk about this.
All right.
I found some of this because I was thinking of something specific to talk about. You know, like on 100. So I was like, hey, there's been shit that's gone on in the past 100 years. That's like, hey, that happened
No
less than 100 years ago.
bullshit.
Well,
Sorry. It's fine.
the first computer patent was 1946.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's not over 100 years.
That's
Within the past 100 years, I said.
Oh yeah.
okay.
Oh no, that makes sense. Yeah.
not, yeah.
I felt like it would have been at least patented maybe sooner.
Oh God, no.
No, there
But
was
not-
there was
I
earlier,
1946 was still the patent, not
there was earlier
not
computers,
mass marketing.
but the first patent was
No, there really
46.
wasn't too much earlier either.
Yeah, there was computations, but nothing.
Well, they
patented.
have the little those little calculators.
Abacus?
No, not an abacus. Those are fucking
gonna say.
thousands and thousands.
Yeah,
of
those
years
ones are-
old, Chief.
That's a manual
No, I
calculator.
can't remember what it's called, but Adam Savage, I watch his.
Yeah,
Oh, fuck,
It's
what
one
are
of
they
those little
called?
cylinder fucking adding machines, and like it's got like hundreds and thousands of little working pieces, and it's like, I think that might be over 100 years old, and that's technically a computer.
right.
It's not an electrical computer. It's
I wouldn't
a mechanical.
call it a computer because
Why not?
to me a computer is something that you're able to you have the hardware format or the hardware which is a computer, but it provides that ability for you to now tell the hardware how to act or do something
But
differently.
you can tell this hardware how to act.
How to act in the
you
sense of it
input-
always gears that way. Whereas
you
with a
input certain
computer,
numbers.
I can make it do something different by programming it differently. There are walls.
Now you can. Now
No,
you
even
can.
back then you could. It was a lot more hard. Back then.
Yeah.
Fuck.
I see what you're saying because they really only used it for
Because
calculations.
you have to change the
and
switches.
mathematics.
Even back then, they
But
only
I hear
did.
you saying.
But it was
I hear you saying.
yeah.
They could make it do other
Yeah.
things. They just was
Yeah.
not a practical means.
I think
to
we
do
need to look into the definition of computer then,
Fair enough.
because I would think computer would be something that calculates an event, like an end game, right? It calculates the end event using zeros and ones, right? Even back when they were using magnetic tape, they were still technically zeros and ones because what's going on the magnetic tape is the iron filings are being rearranged.
Right, but you can take that
to do
same
certain
hardware and make it do something different by giving it a different tape. That's more what I meant.
I don't think that's the definition of a computer, though.
I don't know either.
Yeah, let's no keep going, guys. I'm enjoying this.
Well, we're gonna spend.
Should we define computer?
No,
I guess?
don't cheat by looking at the internet.
fuck the internet. What are you doing, AJ?
I'm going to use a
Fuck
computer.
no, AJ.
I want to use a computer. The computer. I want to use my pants computer.
Excuse me, that's a phone.
Phone.
There you go. Phones are actually no phones.
No, this is a pocket computer that has the capability to use telecommunications to communicate
For
with
now.
other people.
For now.
I
mean, I'm sure that's coming.
Yeah.
Time that won't
Well, it
be
was
the
like
case.
those iPods that they put out right after they did the iPhones. It was an iPhone without a phone.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That's all. So you had a
I think Becca has one of those.
pocket computer.
She has an
Yep.
iPod with
I wouldn't be surprised if that came about. Like the only reason they're really phones still is just because it's a thing.
That's how we
often-
started with them. Sort of
Right,
thing,
like
yeah.
it's just that concept. Because the reality is, the amount of times I use this for a true phone, very infrequent.
Yeah, you're right.
I would say the only time I use mine as an actual phone is to call my parents because they're old and they don't do the
Hmm.
Right.
interneties or fuck. I still have to remind them to turn their cell phones on when they leave the house to go on a trip or something, or to call like a business
Sure.
or something
Yeah.
like that. Like
Yeah,
to
for me,
find
it's
out-
about
yeah.
business. That's about it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That's the majority of my phone calls.
But other than that, we use apps.
we typically
Chris
use
and I
apps.
use an app.
Oh,
to call each
apps,
other.
chats. Oh,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Typically, if I'm chatting to somebody, I'm using an app, with the exception of like you said, businesses or
Yeah.
my parents.
Well,
'cause-
speaking of hundreds, my daughter got to learn that. Didn't realize text messages cost money.
oh
And
yeah,
her bill was, it didn't quite hit 100, but it was pretty damn close.
off straight text messages.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
'Cause that's only like
She was-
11 cents a text or
No,
something.
no,
isn't
she
it?
was
It's more
texting
now?
in American.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, and in the end, almost 100. She's close.
Dang, son.
Oh, jeez.
That's fine.
Crazy.
Yeah, it was kind of just amusing because even I had that moment. What the f? Oh,
You'd be
look,
like,
this is-
"Hey, let me show you what Facebook Messenger's all about. Let me show you."
Hey, let me show you how
Well,
free this is.
What I love about this whole discussion that her and I had was that she said, "Well, this is your fault. You turn the internet off at night. Yeah, to get you off the electronics."
That's not an excuse for you to go and chat
Yeah,
to
well,
somebody.
of course, my response was, "So what you're saying is I should take the phone away from you?"
No.
To be honest, I was honest back with her. I'm just like, you know what? Just use a text messenger or something.
Yeah.
Don't use your actual phone.
Yeah.
Televisions
Sure. Yeah.
are not yet 100 years old.
Nope.
Okay.
They were created within the past 100 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Makes sense. I'm gonna guess 30s,
Probably
40s,
more
probably
20s.
27.
27. Okay. All right. Close enough.
Yeah, it would be-
1927.
But they weren't like.
Did you know
they
that
weren't-
digital cameras were invented in 1975?
yes, but
Yeah.
they didn't go anywhere. Kodak.
Right.
Yep. Well,
Yeah,
Kodak was the ones who invented them.
Yeah, and
And then
Kodak.
they were used
Yeah.
for government, like military purposes, and like higher end, like corporate type shit.
Kodak never really
until-
saw a market
until the
and then
90s.
they lost
yeah.
it.
Yeah. Yeah. They're barely a company anymore. Are they?
I think they were one of the ones that basically got bought by something
Yeah, I
else.
think
and now
Kodak Kodak is still around.
yeah, but they're not the same.
Yeah.
They're not doing. Yeah.
Yeah, they're not what they used to be. Fuck, I remember my mom had to, take pictures. You take it out, but she had to
yeah.
mail it.
Mail it, eh?
Yeah,
You remember those days when you
Yep.
just mail your
Your
tape
film?
away, film
Yeah.
away. Yeah.
Your tape.
yeah. I
You mailed
couldn't
your
think of the
tape
name
away?
I
either.
know. Like tape. Oh my god, it'd be that.
Yeah,
Fucking,
you mail. You
No.
could take it to the store,
I
but
was gonna
that
say,
costs
I've-
more money.
I've only ever known going in and
Yeah, that costs more
having
money.
Pictures processed, but there were actual
1 hour photos.
camera shops or
Oh,
film
yeah.
shops that you would go into as
Yes.
opposed to Walmart.
I remember those.
Because you can still go into Walmart and do it.
Sure,
Yep.
sure. And you can go to Staples
now.
and things like
Yeah.
that. Absolutely. I remember when
Not
downtown
real
McDonough
film.
with
So
those.
just hold Walmart. You're right, but you can go in and print your digital.
You can print digital, but you can take real film into Walmart still, I think.
I don't think
Who's
so.
printing it?
There's no real film
I
at
guess not. I guess
all.
you can't buy real
I don't
film.
think
No.
so
can you?
because
It's all gone.
here's what my experience has been lately when I've gone into Walmart. You go into one of the kiosks, you load all your pictures up.
Yeah.
You take you get them, then you take your receipt, you pay somebody with that receipt, and then you leave the store. Like there's no
I've never
interaction
used it.
other than the payment of said service with them. So
Yeah.
I don't even know who would be. But there is a spot in the back. Somebody might be developing film.
No. It's all automated now. There's no true development.
Oh, okay.
It's
All right.
just a form of print nowadays.
Right.
Yeah, no. The old school style development. I'm sure it's possible if you really are into it in some manner.
Got to do the dark room.
It's the full tilt, very
Yeah.
very unique to you. But as far as any sort of true organization, like I think all of those are gone.
Yeah, I think. Yeah,
I don't.
I
I
feel like
like.
maybe right.
As of November 22nd, Walmart sends out all of their disposable cameras and analog film to third-party photo labs.
Oh, there you go. Yep.
So it's only been within a year.
Shit,
It's only been about a year since they've stopped doing it.
I
crazy.
I only knew the digital print, like
Because
printed.
I'm familiar with that.
Yeah.
They have, at Christmas time, you can't even fucking bother getting.
No, I don't
You're
even
standing
try.
in line for 20 minutes if you want to print a picture off.
I have to admit, I'm one of those annoying people. I have a picture. It's fine. It's digital. What
Yeah,
do you
Yeah,
want?
well, yeah.
Oh, but what happens if you break your phone? It's up in Google. I'm fine.
There's a cloud somewhere
Yeah,
that
Google
has
has every single picture I've taken since like 2005-ish.
Yeah.
Maybe not quite that long ago, but still.
I think we're quickly coming to that time.
I don't
where
back my
physical-
shit up to the cloud, but I back my shit up to my computer.
There you go, yeah.
6 months old.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I used to be in
Dump my
that,
camera.
but then I kind of just got tired of it, and I realized, you know what? They know everything about me. What am I trying to hide? So no, I'm
They
fully
So
You're
if you
in the
take
cloud.
a picture of your booty to send to your lady,
which he does every Sunday.
it's in the cloud.
Okay, but as soon as you have done that and digitally, it's already you're done.
Not if you turn a backup off.
Yes, in theory, but okay, how have you sent it to your beautiful lady?
Yeah, then somebody's got it.
yeah. Had to be a digital imprint somewhere.
Yeah, you gotta say.
Now, don't get me wrong.
Well, then I take it to
I do-
Walmart and I print it off and I put it in an envelope and I sign
out
it. I
there.
love you, and then I send it.
But now the third party has it.
But see, what I love about what
I print it off right there in the
Okay.
kiosk.
Well, no, see, this is what I love though, because in reality, I am aware of a couple. No, this is going back 30 years almost, for fuck's sakes,
Nice.
where the fine fellow did receive a lovely picture. And again, what I still love about it to this day, technically, maybe, no, actually, it wouldn't be, because it was just a printout, a local printout. So yeah, no, that one actually is purely physical. There is no digital. Yeah. So that's the only way to do
Okay,
it.
I got one more.
Well,
I got
there is
more.
one other way to do it. Use a DSLR or something that is completely removed from the internet. And if you can,
but this
you gotta-
digital.
you got
Yeah, but
You
then you still
have
gotta
to print it.
Yeah,
Put
there's
it
gonna
in
be
somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah, if you're transferring anything digitally, there's a
Yeah.
copy.
You
of it
have to.
elsewhere.
So you could do it. Don't get me wrong. I
It's
could
possible,
turn
sure.
this off. Could you do that with a phone? Probably not. But yeah, with a true camera with the memory card,
Yeah.
and you take the memory card out, plug it into the computer. From the computer, just print to a local printer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. That's how I can take a picture of my butt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Commercially sliced bread.
That
is
one's
less
recent.
than 100 years old.
Yep.
Now, yeah, that makes
That
sense.
I was actually like, how the that's
Yep.
used in sliced bread. I
Yeah.
was like, okay, well, that's got to be like from the
Nope.
1800s. No, like 1928.
Most of everything great that we know in life has happened within the last 100 years.
The tire was invented a little bit while ago.
The tire or the wheel?
The wheel.
Okay, the wheel. Okay, yeah. Okay, fine.
The wheel.
But the tire.
The wheel's
probably
not that
within
great.
Within about the last 100 years. Think about it.
Flights,
Oh, no, wheels,
flights,
no.
Flight's better
tires.
than the
I meant
wheel.
Tires.
Oh, yeah.
Pardon?
Flight's better than the wheel.
Hell
Flight's not-
yeah,
Wheel's
well-
not that great. Neither's the
But we
tire.
couldn't have got flight without the wheel. That's the only thing. I agree with you. Flight is way
Well, why
cooler
not?
than because we just
it
wouldn't have
couldn't
had.
land.
Yeah, we just wouldn't have had that type of innovative mindset
I don't
without
think they
being
had
able
wheels
to do
on the
something.
first one.
No,
I'm not saying
I
that
think
they
it's
did.
kind of fluff.
Maybe,
yeah,
yeah.
I love how you're
They only
describing-
they only went like 100 feet or something like that, right?
That's true.
That's
floated with style.
just over 100 years old. Is
Yep.
the birth of flight? That
Yep.
was 18.
I don't know the
something.
truth. Yeah.
No, it's
18. No, it's definitely 19.
It wa-
1900s
Or early.
Oh,
or
19
late
1903.
1800s. Yeah,
But again, that's what I was going to say.
1903.
Why do you guys remember
Over
the
100
time
years.
when if you said over 100 years, that did mean the 1800s?
I
Nowadays,
know.
100
Fuck,
years?
Dude, I say fucking
Jeez.
man 30 years ago, and they think about how long 30 years ago was, and it's like that was only
Well, it's like even
Uh-huh.
93.
things like World War One.
Yep.
Over 100 years ago now.
Yep.
Really?
Motherfucker.
Because yeah, World War
Well-
II was 45.
45 it ended.
Well, yeah, it ended 45, 39 to 45. World War One. Again, it somewhat depends on your country, but going from pure horrible memory, it was something. It ended in 17, I think, 1917-ish.
Sounds about right.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Crazy to
that's what I
think
mean.
about.
Yeah,
That's
it's
crazy,
been
yeah.
over 100 years
Yeah.
since World War One.
That is bonkers.
It is a bit like because
That
again,
is.
The fact that they
Well-
sent people to the moon less than 100
Oh,
years
that one-
after the invention of flight.
yeah, no, that would make
Yeah.
sense.
Well, no, less than
Flight
100 years
is-
after the invention of flight.
But
You have to fly to
Not-
get to the moon.
Actually, not really. You have to get
Well, you have
out
to
of the gravity pull to
yeah,
get
but
to the
flight
atmosphere.
equals
into
aeronautics. Aeronautics equals
there
how they
is-
got them
there's-
to.
there's
I'm
things-
not going to argue this with you, Dave.
There are some
I'm not
things.
gonna argue aviation with you, bud. Sorry.
Okay, well, but see, that's just it. I wouldn't call spaceflight aviation to
Yeah.
properly. It even depends on the land style. Sure, the spaceship, the American ships from
But land-
the 80s and all that shit.
Well, yeah,
that
you-
takes aviation. But
Well,
your
yeah.
normal lunar pods and our new style for
Okay,
landing,
that's just dropping somebody from space.
exactly. They're not flight anymore
Because it's
you
just
shoot them
a
up
pod.
and you drop them down.
But that wouldn't have been possible without what came before.
I will give a bit of a nod to that argument.
Yep, there
Because it has to come before.
However,
And then they have to figure out, well, that's not necessary.
Well,
Let's just do
technically,
this and just
I would like to argue
drop
it
'em in a-
back
drop 'em
that
from a pod.
technically, again, it wasn't space travel, but we had rockets before flight.
Did
Yeah.
we?
Yes,
Think we did.
Fireworks. Chinese did fireworks.
Oh, good
tons
point.
for
Good
Yeah.
point.
they.
Yep. that was those were our first inspirations to figure out
Yes,
space flight.
that's not.
And if I'm correct, I believe that majority of astronauts in that field do not consider themselves in aviation.
Yeah,
Oh.
most astronauts
Do they?
are pilots.
I think
yeah,
they
most
are.
astronauts
Well,
are pilots
apologies.
first.
The
My
people
apologies.
that are truly controlling, I believe.
Oh,
are, yes.
100%. Yeah, sorry. If you have people who are just going up to the ISS,
Yeah.
as a scientist,
Shatner?
chances
How
are
about Shatner? Was he?
he might be a pilot.
Well,
He can
yeah.
have a pilot's license.
Excuse me, Enterprise.
Yeah, he
Star Trek?
flew the
Like, come
Enterprise
on.
guy.
Wow.
Flying Enterprise.
Fucking
Wow.
fired.
Thought, yeah. Speaking of, when that Star Trek was 1960s.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, forget it.
I'm gonna say, no, that's
We
not
still got a few
100
years
old.
before that's 100 years old.
And then Buck Rogers was before that. Buck Rogers might be.
The show, no,
Well, not the show. The would have been the movie.
not even the movie. I think when it is 100, but I truly couldn't. Tell
Yeah, I
you.
don't think so.
I don't. It doesn't have.
We're
that
talking
feel.
we're talking 20s movies. That's when you start talking about the.
I was gonna say you got to
the
remember, like
Chaplins, the
1903
Hardys.
would have been like more than 100 years ago.
Yeah, would have been.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is.
1920 would be more than 100 years
Just
ago.
remember, 100 years ago is roughly 60 years past our ages. So that's what we're looking at here. So we go back 40
That-
years.
oh
Wow.
shit! Thank you
60
for clarifying.
Thank
What
you.
the fuck?
That's what I'm saying. 60 years past our ages.
It's crazy to think all the shit that's
So,
happened
Yeah, it's been a lot of crazy
between
shit.
1923 and now.
Think of
Oh yeah.
here's
humans.
the thing I think is fucking crazy is just the speed of innovation.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Well,
it all happened
that's-
within the last 100.
That's kind of what
years.
I'm thinking of why it's so, because if you think about before that,
Yeah.
like inventions and new things were a little further and far between than like bam TV, bam
Yeah.
this, bam that, right? Like it was
Yeah.
like, hey, we figured this out. Let's chill for a couple years.
Yeah. No,
Right?
I agree.
I guess because technology,
It's just different.
as the ease of building things, and
Yeah, we can blame
things
it all
getting
on what was responsible for all this innovation in the last 100 years, the Industrial Revolution. That's really
Henry
what
Ford,
changed everything. And it was
the
a matter
production
of,
line.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's basically let's get things done as quickly as we can and let's build things for that purpose.
Faster
Mhm.
and faster and faster.
Now we've carried that mentality for virtually everything, and now we've got a whole supply versus demand
Mm-hmm.
conversation across the world, and that's how we.
Oh well, we've
innovate
had that
quickly.
even before, but it was less across the world.
Yeah, exactly. It was more. Yeah, it was
Because it
more
would be more of a,
localized.
and again, I couldn't truly describe it. I guess the right way to phrase this, but, or I guess to a certain extent, like nowadays, you can get foods from other parts of the world.
Yep.
Even back in the 80s, possible, yes, but very less frequent, harder to get.
Yeah.
Around the 80s, I would say that would be where stuff like that was becoming your it's available, but that's your gourmet
Exactly.
5-star
Exactly.
experience.
Mhm.
Yes.
Where, and then if we go further, earlier, and I was thinking, you said that, I'm thinking, well, yeah, like in like the 50s and 60s and shit like that, like you wouldn't be getting certain things.
Not
Like,
easily, no.
Sure,
and
no.
it wouldn't even be like a, because now it's like if you can only get it in Japan, there's this mentality of, well, there's got to be a way.
Yeah.
There's got to be a way
Mhm.
because of the internet and because of this,
Right.
because of
tenacity takes hold.
the time
Mhm.
it is, air
Yeah.
travel being
Yep.
more frequent and things not having to ship overseas, like actually ship overseas.
Yeah.
Where it was just accepted that it wasn't something you were getting,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like, oh, this product, is the Japanese people have it, but we don't have it over here in the West. Oh well,
Yeah.
that's just what they have.
But
and
exactly.
we don't, and that's what we're
Oh
going to
yeah,
accept.
that's all gone.
Now there's no acceptance of like, oh, that was built in Japan and it's a Japanese only thing, or like video games.
Yeah.
Oh, Japanese
That's a
only
great
video games. No, I'm gonna find a way to get it here.
Well, and that's just it. It's almost one of those things that has phased out. Like go back to the 80s even, and getting something like kimchi would be challenging
Sure.
here
Yeah.
in Ontario. Now it's dead simple.
Fucking sushi.
Yeah, sushi. But
Sushi
that's what I love
restaurants and
is
shit.
nowadays is you hear, yes, it's very easy to get, I'll pick on kimchi, not that I'm really trying to knock it.
I don't.
But then
know
I'll
why
talk
you
to
need pick on
somebody-
her.
It's not a her, kimchi.
It's a
But
guy.
then,
It's a
yeah.
guy.
But then again, you somebody that is truly Korean, wants their style, you say,
They're not
"Oh."
fake Korean, truly Korean.
Truly not fake.
God, sorry, couldn't- No.
And then you're like, hey, well, where do you get your kimchi? Oh, we make it ourselves.
Right.
Why? Because that's the better way to do it. So it's almost like we've gone
Mhm.
through another cycle where people are like, yes, I could go to the grocery store, get sushi, get kimchi, all these things, but you know what?
It's funny that you're saying this. 'cause
I want to
was-
make it myself.
I was
Fuck it.
having this conversation the other night with my wife and our upstairs tenant. We had her down for some dinner, and we were eating, and she's like, Nikki was saying, "Oh, we made this ourselves. We made
Mhm.
everything was made from scratch. It was all Chinese inspired food. I wouldn't say Chinese food because I'm not Chinese. B, I don't live in China. It was Western Chinese food.
And sweet and
Right.
sour chicken balls is not Chinese.
No, it was stir fry,
Okay.
which
all right.
which I would assume
Sure.
would be Chinese adjacent at least.
Yeah, Jason for sure.
In-
And
Inspired,
and
definitely.
dumplings and,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
steamed dumplings, so pot
Yep.
stickers, Chinese adjacent.
Yes.
But probably
Inspired
definitely
by.
not definitely not OG.
Yeah.
Inspired by it. But and yeah, it's like we learned how to do all of that stuff through COVID.
Right.
Mhm.
And I feel like that sparked a resurgence of it's just as easy to do it yourself. It tastes better if you do it yourself.
Yep.
You feel more accomplished if you do it yourself. Like, yeah, I could have went and got all that stuff in the frozen food section at fucking
Yep.
Freshco, but I wouldn't have felt I wouldn't have felt like I did that.
Yeah.
No, I got you. It's
So
like
I
I've
think
done.
I think COVID, like going back to what you're saying, has
Oh yeah.
sparked that resurgence of people figuring out how to do it for themselves
Yes.
and realizing that, hey, it's not that fucking hard, and
Yeah.
it doesn't take that much time.
Depends on the food, but because sometimes
Sure,
I
you
will
need
admit
help.
there are some things that like ribs. I love making ribs. I love doing the barbecue, the whole
Mhm,
thing.
mhm.
But if you want to make ribs, like you're spending a good chunk
It's
of
a
time.
It's
There is a
day.
process.
It's a day.
Yeah,
yeah.
Whereas
at
I do
least.
know that, hey, I could also, when they're on sale, get the pre-made ready to go, throw them in the
Well, I
oven.
guess even with the kimchis too, because kimchi is a fermented
Oh,
food,
yeah.
right?
Yep.
So
Yeah.
it does take that time
Yes.
for it to ferment, be it a day or a week, or I'm not
Yeah.
sure.
I have to admit, that's a meism, though. I don't mind something that takes long, like beer. I right now have beer brewing at home. Sure, it took me a few hours in a day, but it was a nice, relaxing day. It was nice because the weather being what it is now before the snow decided to come back, and it was just
Mhm.
beautiful.
I guess
Mhm.
it all depends on how you feel about the activity too,
Yeah,
because
I think that's it.
some people do go into that Zen mind state or that comforting mind state when they're cooking.
Or how
Some-
broke you are.
Some people
No, I agree with you.
have more anxiety
Yeah.
when they're doing that.
Sure,
when
yeah.
they're cooking, right? Like, is it going to taste good? Is it going to be right? Is it going to be this? Is it going to be that? And they have all
Yeah.
those worries. Whereas when I'm cooking, it's like, I know what I'm doing. That tastes good. That tastes good. That's going to taste good.
I'm
together.
similar in that style. I'm more of a, I made this for you, so you're only allowed to say it was good. Otherwise, shut the fuck up.
Oh, I'm one of those people. Like, I'll ask you like after every 5 bites, it's good, right? Like my
Oh,
wife,
yeah?
or I'm sure my wife hates eating new shit with me because I'm worried that I didn't make the new thing right.
Yeah.
And then I'm also worried that now you don't like it and you're hungry.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's good, right? It's good, right? She's like,
No,
I'm still fucking eating it, right?
I'm the jerky guy. Yeah, no. What do you mean you don't like it? You don't have a good taste bud then. This is
This is an
You don't have a
thing.
refined palate.
yeah.
Yeah. I think it's a combination of things, but to your original point, Dave, I think the world is moving back in that direction of, especially now that we're so connected and we're all broke. It's like, yeah, instead of us relying on buying store-bought stuff made by Joe Blow companies, like, we could probably do things on our own a little bit cheaper, a little bit better. A little bit
There's
more
definitely
involved.
certain things, and unfortunately, I found that it's the things that you order out, right? It's like
As opposed to
you still need to go to the store and buy an ingredient. Like,
yes,
if you want to make stir fry now, I got to go to the store and buy a bell pepper. I can't wait 6 months to grow one.
right.
I mean, I could, but I don't want to because I want to eat.
Mhm.
Well, yeah, you're always going to be going to get.
So,
to-
like, you
yeah.
know, hamburgers, pizzas, dumplings, Chinese food. Like, I don't remember the last time I ordered Chinese food because I figured out how to make the stuff that Nikki and I like
Mhm.
during COVID. And we didn't want to spend a shit ton of money on Skip the Dishes and shit like that, right? It was getting to the point where it was like we were spending like $100-$200 a week on fucking Skip the Dishes because because you don't know, like you don't want to go out to the fucking store at the beginning of COVID because
during that
panicking
time,
and
gotcha.
during that time, right?
Gotcha.
So it was getting to the point where it's like, fuck, well, we got to figure out how to make this shit on our own, if we want it, right? So it was more buying bulk meat orders from the butcher down on Adelaide there, Western Meats.
Mhm.
We'd get like their $100 meat orders, which has the beef and chicken.
Are they sponsoring us? Or
If they would like to sponsor us,
why you're my name?
Western, because if they want to sponsor us, that'd be great.
Okay.
But they are a local business, and I give them props
Shout out
because
Western
they're
Meats.
super
Shout out.
nice dudes that at both locations. Very nice people that work there. Very accommodating.
It's funny. I've had a different experience with Western Meats, but that's okay.
That's so weird because anytime I've gone in there since I've started, they've been like incredibly accommodating, and it's like, oh, we don't like
I
this and
enjoyed
that package.
No.
or
So I
whatever.
enjoyed the meats. Was going quite frequently, and then I still to this day, it's one of those. I'd love to go find this fellow and just be like, was it done on purpose? So I asked, they have this, or I don't know if they still do, but back in the day, you get 10 pounds and you get a discount on that particular cut, right?
Okay.
Right? So you get pork chops and you 10 pounds and all those things. And so I was getting 10 pounds of pork chops, chicken, something to this effect. And he's doing his thing. And I'm like, that's funny. It looks smaller. And I'm thinking that in the back of my head, but I just didn't say anything. So I'm just like, weird. I remember there being more.
Mm-hmm.
And the other fellow that happened to look in there, I go up to the register. He picks it up and goes, well, you're only getting like 6 pounds? I go, no, I asked for the 10. He looks at it funny, looks at me funny, looks at the guy funny, puts on the weight. Yeah, it was 6 pounds.
Oh,
He's like,
so they try
"We'll
to
fix
shaft
this."
you. Okay.
Yeah, this is what I mean.
I would say it would have been an employee, not somebody who actually runs the place.
No, and that's true.
Because anybody that I've encountered that actually like is managing, like the two guys that kind of run the one on Adelaide there, super fucking nice guys.
And I'll
Have
give credit
always
for the guy-
accommodated
yeah.
any sort of special request because they have freezer packages.
Yes,
so
they
you
do.
get, chicken and
Yes.
beef and blah blah blah. But if it's like, well, we just bought a freezer package, we didn't use the fucking 2 pounds of pork shoulder that was in that one. Can we switch it out for something? Oh yeah,
Nice.
they just switch
Yeah,
it out.
I just after
based off
that
of price
moment,
and whatnot,
yeah,
right?
I never went back.
Bad
Yeah.
taste in your mouth, eh?
Yeah.
So if you're out
So it'll
there
be-
and you're interested in Western Meats, it's a 50-50 split. Try it out for yourself. That's what I would say.
Yeah.
You
are.
could be the
Our
deciding
20s
factor. You
listener.
could go.
I could.
You could.
Yeah.
Maybe. We'll see.
Trying to
Haven't
think,
been
what
there
else
yet.
is
There's
100?
out there we
Wait,
want.
let's get back to 100 here. Do you
Yeah.
think you're going to live to 100?
I think so.
No.
I love the
Me
no.
or you? You don't think you're going to? Or I'm not. I'm not
not.
going to. Okay.
I'm answering Dave's question.
I think medical advancements will work in our favor to the point that yes, I could live to 100.
Okay, let me rephrase that. Do I think I'm going to live to 100? Possibly. Do I want to live to 100?
You're on my side.
Fuck no.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's one of those, it is that challenge. And I think it's one of those things, we're slowly seeing that change where people are now allowed to choose to exit if
Yep,
they
that's
are
right.
done with life. To a certain extent, you do need a medical
Oh, I
condition
will
or
if I
something.
have to.
Yeah. But I mean, it's one of those just because you're saying, yes, with medical, you could be 100.
Mm-hmm.
But you also could be living to 100 in pain or not fully here
Well,
cognitively.
I'm really hoping
Now,
that the medical
cognitive-
advancements prevent that from happening.
To-
And I enjoy
fair.
100
To a degree, I'm gonna agree with Chris because yes, like medical advancements in regards to pain, stuff like that.
But then you need
Cogni-
more.
cogni-
and more.
Cognitively,
Yeah.
though, that is something I think that's the brain isn't just something we understand that well yet.
Oh, exactly.
well
yeah.
enough to like keep it alive to the point where it still works.
Well, Alzheimer's,
but we're
being the
getting
common.
better, and the advancements that stuff has happened within my lifetime versus what it will be in the back half of my lifetime, which will be
Yeah.
exponentially better.
I hope,
I don't
but
know. I got
my grandfather in
Pardon?
3 years. My grandfather in 3 years is no longer here mentally.
Right.
Physically, yes. Mentally, no.
Yeah.
And it's one of those, and I mean this in the nice, loving sense, though. Like, he's healthy, he's fine. He's gonna probably be around for another few years,
Mm-hmm.
but he's not here.
Sure.
It's and
Now,
I hate to relate it to this,
yeah,
but if you were to take an animal, like
Yes.
a cat or a dog,
like I just did.
and speak to somebody in the same respect, they would look at you, well, that's no quality of life. You should just have them put down.
Exactly,
And that's okay.
yes,
Whereas when it comes to a human
Yes.
who's in the exact same position as
Yes.
this animal,
Yeah.
it's not okay. It's
Right.
not,
It's not
quote
humane.
unquote morally.
but that's why
Proper.
I want, right way to phrase it, that in 100 years I can, as a proper adult, ask me the right questions, those things, but once I'm diagnosed with something like this, I can make that decision before it truly fully hits me to say, once I am no longer here, please take this away from me.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're allowed to do that
But-
with certain diseases and things, but you
yeah,
have to
'cause
be
it-
cognitive.
I was going to
That's the
say
big
there,
thing.
and there would have to be. Yeah, I don't know if I disagree, because there you could have extreme cognitive tests run on you and say like, okay, yeah, this dude's not even like
Yeah, once I hit the
prove that you are a vegetable.
yes,
basically.
once I've hit this point,
brain activity.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You don't
once
even
my
have to
brain
do that.
activity goes below this
Oh,
threshold,
I see.
yeah.
that's the style I would like to see.
I
And
get
again,
you.
it's easy for me to say these things. Again,
And then
But
you're
if I
forced
was
in the
given-
position where someone's like, "Yeah, we're gonna let you. We're gonna have to."
Well, no,
you
no,
know,
no, but
you're
that's
gonna
just
have
it. If I've said here, if I say no, then no, don't do it. Like no matter what. But if it's one of those, just because again, somebody who's in that state, unfortunately, like they can't even say no.
If the medical advances were that of such where I could regress to a certain point physically or something, then maybe. Just because it's like, are they going to make something that's going to keep my poo and my pee inside my body when I'm 95 years old?
Probably
Well,
called diapers.
No, that doesn't keep it inside your body, sir.
But no,
I know you don't have children, so I'm
No,
going to
no,
explain
I
to you
don't.
how diapers
Well,
work.
no.
You have to poo and pee
Oh,
for them to work.
Just
Got
for a point, though, that depends on the establishment you're in. Because if you're in the old age home, sometimes no, it just attaches to your body and it's part of you forever.
all right. Wow, that's
But see, again, that's
disgusting.
I don't feel like that's any way to live.
Um,
See,
Oh,
but,
God, no.
But in all seriousness, joking aside, if they make something that keeps my shit and my piss inside my body when I'm 95 years old, then okay, I'll
I have
push on a
hopes.
little further.
I have hopes.
Or,
Interesting bar.
I at this stage of my life, I feel that I have so many interests and things and wants and blah 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 that I continuously want to do, that I hope that I continue to have time to do that. And I hope that come those years, I still want to do those things or other things and continue to keep me going. Now, we've made such if you're talking about state of life right now, I might be weary, but I have a lot of hope and a lot of optimism for where we're heading as a society, medically speaking.
I have a question
Give me-
based
give me a
off of
minute,
what
give
you
me a minute.
said.
I have a question too.
And I
Or a
I have a feeling that if I can get to 100, it'll be not the worst life. It's also, don't get me wrong, there's
I'm not
there's
saying
a lot.
I want to.
No, but there's also like, and I don't want to speak for your grandfather, but I can speak to people of my family, and I'm hearing some stories about whatever, cognitive decline and things like that. And from what I understand, it's about doing things to prevent that from happening now, whether that's learning new languages, learning instruments, things that you can do to continuously grow your brain. It's not a perfect science or anything like that, but it does help for those later years if you're continuously doing stuff for that. So I'm hoping that if I do that sort of thing, that I can live to be 100.
So this hoping that you are doing,
Mm-hmm.
do you feel that it is something, a way of thinking that isn't allowing you to do the things you want to do and the things you enjoy doing now. Like, instead of doing them now, you're sitting here going, well, I've got all this time.
No, I do them
because I'm hoping I'll be 100.
No. Because I have people that are in life or death situations, I don't treat my life like that.
Okay.
I'm just hoping. And I mean,
hoping that you live to 100.
It's been true up until this point in my life that I'm continuously going to be interested by things that I want to continue doing.
I understand.
Yeah,
I understand. Okay.
Yeah. My point now. I remember the time when, fuck, we're going to be dead by the time we're 20.
And here we are. Surpassed that, sir.
I remember being in a band with a guy who was thoroughly convinced that he would be dead at 27. Just like Jim Morrison, Kurt Cobain, Jimi Hendrix, Janis Joplin.
And I mean,
and what's he doing now? He's almost 50 and he's got 3 kids. Right? Like,
for sure. I think ultimately the philosophy should be it's the quality of life versus the length of life lived. However, I'm just hopeful. I think that moving forward through life, and as things, I mean, I'm hearing things all the time about how things are getting better medically. And that's not even including if we start talking about Neuralink or other, possible ways we could augment our physical behavior. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I'm uploading my brain to Google.
Fuck yeah. And even there, I mean, now you're infinite, right? Like
I would be worried to do that because if you upload your brain to Google, then it's digital.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
People can fuck with digital things.
But I can also duplicate myself constantly and fuck with your digital things.
Not necessarily.
Oh yes, I saw Lawnmower Man.
That depends on the service that you've paid to have do this.
No. You misunderstood. I apologize. I'm going to upload myself to the internet and hack Google.
I love it.
Okay, so back to the Lawnmower Man nonsense.
Yeah.
But theoretically, realistically, if that was possible.
Because all of this is theoretically realistic.
Theoretically, if it was realistic, I wouldn't be comfortable doing that because I feel like you could be corrupted.
Well, it's the player one-y thingy stuff, right?
Or uploaded that.
I finally saw that movie to boot.
Oh,
did you? Did you like the movie?
They make a lot of changes in that movie compared to the book.
Yeah.
Again, the essence is similar, the style is similar-ish, but there is actually quite a few differences between the two. I was a little caught off guard.
Yeah. Speaking
movie
of 100,
was good though.
I see that as a possible future. Maybe not 100 years, but
it's like
maybe.
The whole quote unquote metaverse thing where
we're heading there now.
Entire life.
Oh, we were talking about that 20 years ago.
That's true.
Yeah,
true too.
Lawnmower Man.
Yeah. Exactly.
Hey, speaking of 100, have you guys checked out this Netflixy show called 100 Humans?
Yes.
Have you heard of this?
I have
seen. They take 100 people.
I thought it was kind
and
of boring.
put
in the
them
end.
through through like
different
tests
things.
And
Yeah.
I find it interesting.
Yeah.
I find it
I only watched
intriguing.
one though, I think, where they were on chairs or balloons or something was going on. I can't remember now.
Yeah.
I only watched one. I have to
I
admit.
watched one the other night and it was interesting. It was it had to do with bias. So like gender bias, racial bias, stuff like that. And they did one of the like a shooting gallery, shooting test kind of thing. And they had people of color coming out from behind things with a cell phone. Right. And then like, the whole question is like, would you not shoot? Are you going to shoot the right fucking people? 9 times out of 10, they didn't. 9 times out of 10, they just shot because of fear, quote unquote. But the reaction of this one young lady when she realized, because one of the guys that they used, a black fella who was one of the production coordinators, and he'd been going around throughout the course of production, engaging with all of the contestants, and he was one of the people. When she found out a what she'd done, and B who it was, the fact that she knew, like this woman just broke down, like the realization of like holy fuck.
Yeah.
And I thought, I was thinking about it too. It's like when you're in a situation like that, I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it should happen, but when you are in a situation like that and you're the point is that split second, right? Like, am I going to be shot? How am I going to defend myself? What am I going to do? Is that that a gun? Is that not a, right? Like that split second decision. Like I could see myself doing that. Like if I was a police officer or something like that, I could see myself making that mistake of killing somebody, based off of bias, be based off of that, regardless.
Unexpectedness.
If there is no bias involved, right? Like if it was a white kid, but things were shifty and he whipped around with something in his hand or something like that, I need to make that decision.
Yes.
It's like, am I going to die or am I going to live?
Here's hoping you cover that in your training.
But
right?
No. He said the important thing though. When he whips around or comes out of nowhere, those ones I do believe. I agree with you.
And that's the
when
ones
somebody's running the fuck away from you.
Sure,
come on.
But the whole test was people.
Yes.
It was like the scene in Men in Black where they have all the things jumping out at Will Smith and he's
I thought that was a good one.
right. But so it was the same kind of idea as a
Why
test.
did he shoot the girl?
Somebody jumps out, right?
I always love that
Somebody jumps
scene.
out from behind a garbage can and all they have is a cell phone.
Sure.
But then over here somebody's jumping out and that's the person with the gun, right?
Yeah.
Out of I think the 4 people that were in this scenario, only one person was supposed to have the gun.
Gotcha.
But people would shoot like everybody.
Yeah.
There was not one person who only shot the girl with a gun.
Yeah.
Right? It was always like you shot the right person, but then you shot somebody wrong.
Yeah.
Right? Regardless of if they were the white person, the black person.
No,
whatever.
that makes sense.
Sure.
But like, the realization is like watching this show, it's like, holy fuck. Like if I was in that position, I would probably react the same way.
Oh,
I would probably feel just as bad as this young
yes.
lady.
Yeah.
It was all fake, obviously, but
yeah, no.
But yeah, I can understand how police officers get themselves into those predicaments. In I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying like I wish there was a way that there could be that another split second.
Yes.
If only we could be less human.
Right.
I
Or
agree.
to slow down time.
I'm sorry, I just had
or
this thing pop in my
something.
head. Just excuse me, are you do you have a weapon? Are you planning on shooting me? Yeah, I am. Okay, thank you. Let's go.
Okay, now we can make the decision, right?
Right.
Can we talk about this first and then
Yeah.
go into it? But yeah, you're right. Like if there was only a way for us to be less human.
Well,
Right?
there is more every day. We're becoming less and less human. So,
But realistically.
but realistically, we are.
Okay, well then tell me how you could.
Yeah, how are you less human?
I just think
in
with
that
the
scenario, how can you be less human?
I would say, well, that you can't yet, but I would say with the further implementation of technology and as we advance alongside it more, we just become less and less human. That's all.
Okay, I'm not going to disagree with that.
Yeah, that's all. That's all I'm saying.
But in
That's
this
good.
scenario that we're in,
well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, this
talking
scenario,
about.
I guess you could use computations of some sort to get yourself an extra split second. But
while I'm in this range where I'm under attack, I should Google first.
exactly.
Gotcha.
All right.
Right? It's like that game. It's like that. It's like that game that you told me where you move and then everything moves, and then when you like time moves only when you move, and then you have to make
Which game is that?
one that just was just a free game on a couple months ago. It's a shooting game. It's a first person shooter. It's like a training simulation kind of thing. You told me hot something. I'd have to look it up on my phone. But it's the whole idea.
Oh, what are you talking about? As hot ladies thing?
Super hot?
Little different.
Something like that. Something like that. Yeah, where it's the whole idea is it's like time only moves
When you
relative to when you move. So it's a puzzle game kind of thing. So you got to shoot this guy, you got to shoot this guy, you got to shoot this guy, but they're shooting at you too.
Yeah.
Right? So when you move, the bullets, so you got to figure out kind of where to place yourself to get all the
Gotcha.
I mean, so
Yeah.
technology like that doesn't exist, obviously.
Yeah.
But that's what
Yeah,
I'm saying. It's like that's the only way you could do something like that. It would have to be that drastic.
But you know,
Because we are only
They're
human.
really trying to. Companies are trying to implement AR technology and VR technology in our everyday lives, and if that becomes more of a thing and more streamlined, and everybody's walking with AR glasses and goggles, I could see that very well being implemented.
I can't see that how that would be relative to time though.
No, it wouldn't help a police
That's
officer.
and that's
no,
the
no.
problem is
No, yes.
time.
Yeah, time. Yeah, obviously we're all still
but
victims of time.
It would to a certain extent potentially help. I should say this.
Yeah.
Because imagine a world, and again, I always forget
I've
the
seen
name of the show.
RoboCop. I know how he.
Yeah, first
targets
it's
and
less
shoots
about
off
that.
the wall and
But if it was common in society that everybody had one of these,
Mm-hmm.
then as a police officer who also has one, I know Chris Harvey's there. He's not the fellow I'm looking for. I know AJ's
Right.
there. There's movement over here, but
Starts
my
to take away
sensor
from
is
the
picking up an
biases.
unknown person.
Yeah.
All right, when you jump out, I know not to shoot you. When the unknown person jumps out, unfortunately, I will.
Or if we know
but what
where
if
you
that
are,
unknown-
and now
but
we
what
just
if
have
that
to
unknown
use a bullet to go right through the wall.
But what if that unknown person person has unfortunately either broken their AI equipment or the battery has run out.
No.
So therefore, your equipment isn't connecting with
Right.
their equipment.
Yeah,
and
those
now
are
it's
all
saying-
elements.
So that could happen.
But then
now
somebody
the
still
risk,
jumps out and
The
pop.
risk has reduced because of that. Whereas
Yeah.
in today's world, all three of you are potentially challenged.
Mhm.
Or as it just becomes more of that thing where no, you need to have one. It is expected.
And I
Welcome
think-
to birth.
I
guess-
Insert.
I guess-
think
I
that's
mean,
where we're going to
phones.
get to. Like, I honestly believe if Neuralink or whatever that is becomes a thing, that will be the name of the game. You either have one or you don't.
yeah.
And if you don't, you're falling behind. And it's like the internet. We live it now. If somebody does not have direct access to the internet, they are losing out to the other people that do have direct
it's a
access.
detrimental thing.
Absolutely.
I've a few times I've borrowed money off my parents and it was like a without question kind of thing. It was either I needed a new computer or I needed to get my internet bill paid because of how
you have to
important
have it.
the fucking internet is,
exactly.
right?
So
Like,
I
if
feel
I were
the
to-
same thing about these Neuralink or
100
whatever
years
they are.
from now, it'll be a must-have.
It won't be a must-have. We just will not know life without it.
You do have.
You know, yeah, exactly. And you'll have some sort of device other than a phone that you have to carry physically that you can access it like that,
Mhm.
right? And we're just going to continue progressing to that point.
Oh, yeah.
So I
Oh,
feel
that I definitely don't disagree with.
so
for sure.
exactly. So I feel when we start getting into that, then we can start, like you said, we can start targeting differently or whatever application that we can use. And so therein lies my.
I guess that's a question of overall morality.
It's always going to be that.
Right,
That's the one
yeah.
human thing we can't get rid of is our morality complex, which is not a bad thing. I'm glad we have one.
I just ignore mine.
But like, that's it. Like, you think about a justice system for a second. Our best defense is an eyewitness. Typically, you need someone.
And even at 90, not
No,
90, but 75% of the time, an eyewitness doesn't get.
Yeah, no,
I would
facts
say even
straight.
less than.
Yeah, no.
75.
Eyewitnesses for or against don't really drive either way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. I thought they were.
No, I'm gonna go with. I agree with what you're saying, but I'm also pulling from that. I think it was a MythBusters test that they did where they had something happen and people were supposed to describe the person and not once was it 100%
Right.
accurate.
Yeah.
And I guess that's ultimately my point is we can't even rely on our own fucking eyes.
Yeah.
No, you can't.
Right? You can't
Or
do
your
that. Like,
memory,
we
your
can't
eyes.
even rely on our own memories about our own past. Right.
Yeah.
But as technology gets better, it's just all going to be recorded and we won't even have to worry about that. It's just like, hey, you remember that time we were 6 years old? No, I don't. But now I do.
Now that's
And you pull
what
that
I
up.
would like to see within the next 100 years.
That would
I
be
would like
fun.
to see something that you can jack up to and pull memories and almost
it's coming.
record the
It's
memories
On
as well.
Netflix, they made a great show to also show how horrible that could be, though. It was nice.
Was it what show? Was it Black Mirror? No.
Yes,
It was
Black Mirror. One of the
yeah.
Black Mirrors. The dude with the thing at the airport. You have to show where you were been and everything.
Yeah.
Oh,
And you know what's funny?
eh?
The whole story
point.
about it, it's a great story. The thing that really got me wigged out, the thing that I was like, wow, something I always thought I wanted. I really don't, actually.
Yeah.
He and the wife lying beside each other.
Yeah.
Humping, having sex. But
Not
neither
each
of them
other.
are really there. They're both replaying a memory.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's just one of those, oh man, that is wiggy.
I'm
It
gonna
does
have a
make us
problem
separated.
because now I have the memory of Dave saying humping,
Okay. For sure.
Humpa-da,
And you have it
humpa-da, hump,
recorded.
hump,
and I have it
So-
recorded.
You
too.
do.
It's there forever now.
I think,
David
I
is
think the
humping.
only time that word should be used is while doing or singing the Humpty Dance.
Okay.
Oh,
All right.
I need to go practice the words. Next week I'll sing the
Yeah.
Humpty Dance.
I think, in fact, Dave, if you could just completely replace all your words with the word humping.
Humping.
Yeah, just humping.
Either way,
Oh,
I do.
Then now, then now that would be okay.
That's
Oh,
perfectly
okay.
fine. That's
I do
perfectly fine.
recommend the show because they had a good call out for it. Just
Yeah.
because I was always one of those. Yeah, I want to record it all. I want to record it all.
Yeah.
And then when I watched just that scene, now there is more to the story, but that scene in particular happened to hit me in that sense of, wow, you're never really experiencing. It's even nowadays, just people rewatching, redoing something over and over.
I have a fun fact for you guys. At least for cameras, I can't speak for all, or sorry, phones. I can't speak for all cameras, but at least for cell phone cameras, we're not actually taking an actual image anymore. When you take a picture,
Oh yeah, no, because there's
it's all the computations giving you what they think is
Yeah.
the picture that you want.
the only way that you can do that is with an SLR or DSLR. Anything mirrorless,
Yep.
is not. Yeah, it's not sending that actual information, because with a mirrored camera, even if it was digital,
You're
it's
capturing
processing that analog,
that photo.
turning it into digital, whereas that is always digital.
It's all digital. In fact, when you hear about new phone technology and they're talking about the camera, all they're talking about is whatever processing power or whatever it is that they're doing to generate an image that they think that you're looking for, which is kind of fucked. But it is what it is.
And that's why I, being somebody who's grown up, with and without.
Sure, yeah.
It's like,
we're the fortunate ones.
Yeah, we are.
I still say filming, right? And then it's even when it comes out of my mouth and my brain goes, no, it's not.
Yeah.
That's true, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Or
Filming.
hey, play that tape off.
It'll just be, they're just terms now, but everybody typically knows if you're in our fucking generation
8
or
tracks.
a couple of years behind us. Those are just terms that people use. But you're right. As you talk to younger people, they don't. That doesn't really jive with them. They don't understand
again,
it.
it's like anything vinyl. You can kind of pick on that because again, it had a little bit and still is around, but that whole came back whoosh because people wanted that acoustic
for sure.
And what I still love, I have a buddy. I won't knock him too hard. Not that he listens to this probably. He was all about vinyl getting back into Winter's House. It sounded great, and then I look and I go, it's all digital though, so it's not true vinyl.
Yeah, I guess it depends on how you're doing it.
I honestly don't know how he's doing it. He was giving me shit. We were both a little drunk.
I mean, it's analog unless the record is being read by lasers.
No, so and he made a similar. No, it is perfectly analog. It's just the stereo part that's not the analog or something.
Come on now.
No, I'm going to agree. I'm going to go and say it would be all analog because the path that the record player would take through the record player would be all wires.
Yes.
Because you're still using the same connection. You're using an analog connection, not a digital connection. So it's not an HDMI cable or an optical cable, which are both digital.
Yes.
So you need something to read.
He had the RL red, yellow.
You
thingy.
need something to read those two signals, right? Whereas the red and white, right? The right and left, that's an actual audio signal.
All right,
that's
there
not
you
ones
go.
and zeros that
I was giving him shit
turned into. Sorry,
No,
no. So it's funny that you say it though, because there is, and I did watch something on YouTube the other day. There was a laser record player that was introduced back in like the 90s or something like that.
Yeah,
the
nifty.
90s.
And it cost like $20,000.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Back then.
Yeah.
It's like the laser disc
Right?
of the
But like
80s.
Essentially, right?
Yeah.
Because what it's doing is it's the way that records work is it's the depth, the width, and all that stuff of the groove.
Yes.
Which denotes how loud, what frequencies, so on and so forth.
The whole kit caboodle.
So you needed I think it was 5 or 6 lasers to read a groove,
That's
as opposed to one needle
Right.
That makes
to
sense.
read a groove.
Yeah. Or a CD, and of course that is even better because it's just one laser, just the
And it's reading pits and valleys,
Yeah.
which are your ones and zeros.
Speaking of 100, I love that. I mean, vinyl's way older than 100.
Oh yeah, vinyl's way older.
Oh, sorry.
Than 100.
Oh,
Dave found his prize.
Dave got pop tabbed. You got pop tabbed, everybody. My favorite thing about vinyl is that was our first real way to record music, right? I know we did wax cylinders and things like that, but
wax cylinders.
Okay, I thought you meant person. I'm like,
no. First commercial
wax
way that we did
wax
it.
cylinders was first, but it's essentially the same idea.
Right.
He's choking because he was so,
I know.
what? No, don't say that.
But what I think is great is, so that's like our first foray into recording music, and the majority of people still consider that the best way to listen to
I'm
music.
one of those annoying people.
That's fine, but the majority of people, I would say,
and we already know that.
Yeah.
But
the majority of people fall in that say, okay, vinyls, it sounds best on vinyl. Well, all I'm saying is it's kind of neat that the best way was one of the first ways. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think that's a neat.
I think there's the
kind of
nostalgia
fact.
factor because I don't know.
Wow.
Maybe I just don't have the ears for it. Fine, but for me personally, whenever I've heard somebody's vinyl, the sound is fun. I'm not knocking the sound, and then there'll be a
All the
because there's a hair on it,
Yeah.
or there'll be a pop,
yeah.
You get that with CDs,
or
though.
somebody might scratch.
You have
It's
to.
rare you
CDs.
get it with
Yep.
CDs.
No.
Unless
You
scratch
could.
them.
Unless you scratch.
Unless you scratch them,
Yeah,
unless you
yeah.
have fingerprints.
No,
on
no,
them.
no.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
get
Unless
for
there's
CDs.
dust on them.
Yeah, no,
Yeah, no,
CDs
that
too.
happens for sure.
But nowadays, not even
Well,
that.
fuck, we
It's
don't
all
need
just
CDs.
fucking digital.
Oh well, yeah. You
So
don't
just so
even
you
get
know,
skipping
kids,
anymore.
CDs were a way we listen to music.
Those things are
After tapes.
dead.
After yeah.
That's one thing. Like LPs, they come back. Yeah, tape CDs. Nobody flying
No.
fucking wants them.
Tapes are coming back now.
Really?
Yep.
I heard about that.
Yeah, a
Chris.
lot of. I think
Audio?
I think what's happening is
Mhm.
is the analog.
But tapes
end of
aren't
a-
analog. They're digital.
Yeah, they are on the magnetic recording.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
just magnetic. It's not.
No, they're not.
They're 8-bit recordings.
No, they're not.
Yes, they are.
No, they're not.
Tapes.
They're analog. Analog tape, Dave.
Oh, are you
It's
sure?
called analog tape. The way tape works is there's metal filings on the tape, on
Right.
the physical tape, on
Yes.
the brown part. There's metal filings, and when it goes through your tape player, those are rearranged by magnets in your tape player.
So it's 1 and zeros.
No. It's not ones and zeros.
Oh my gosh.
No ones.
I view them as
no
digital.
zeros.
What did I?
Just crappy digitals.
I just saw something. Was it?
I want to
they
see 8 tracks come
recorded
back.
A 4K movie on VHS, and the quality's insane.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I guess because it's more analog. I don't know, but I was like, oh, that's neat. People
I
are
don't even know if
taking.
you could. What?
Yeah, I'm not sure the whole process, but people are taking old or new technologies and integrating them with old technologies for
I don't think
whatever
you
reason.
double-fingered on that one.
Yeah.
I'm wondering how that would work
I'll look it up. I'm bastardizing.
because I know now we can go back to the conversation Dave and I were just having.
Yeah.
There is digital tape.
Yes.
That is a something.
Yes.
Consumer cassette tapes, no.
I always thought they were digital.
Consumer cassette tapes would not be a digital thing. That would be in the
'Cause it was like,
the higher end of it, like recording
Not
or
Atari.
video.
What was the other one? Fuck.
Commodore.
Commodore.
They had the cassette tapes, yeah. But that's just playing a sound. That's actually literally playing a sound.
Like a modem to a certain extent.
Exactly.
There you go.
That's playing
I
a
might be
sound.
incorrect. Now,
So
now I want to go
So
research
that's the
this.
computer taking an analog signal,
And
just like
digitalizing
what we're
it.
doing right now.
Yes.
Yeah,
and
We're
making it
taking an
digital.
analog that has what's called an A to D,
Sorry, I just love the fingers.
the
Yeah.
the gadget up
just so
there
you know, AJ just randomly pointing hands in the sky.
to my left. That's taking this analog signal
And digitizing it.
and digitizing it so it can go into the computer.
Gotcha.
And then what it would do for if we were to listen back to it, it would do the opposite. It would take a digital signal and
Yeah.
turn it into an analog signal so we could hear it. right?
Okay. All right. That's a fair argument back.
So there are I've got a digital video camera right here that used tape.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
I'm not sure how that works though. I couldn't tell you
I
how
have
the
no
digital
idea.
aspect of it works.
Yeah.
So and going back to the 4K thing, I'm wondering if it's some sort of like super VHS. Or
I'll share it with
digital
you.
VHS.
I'll
tape or
look it up.
something.
Let's not waste too much of the podcast on it because I don't want to speak out of turn. But
This
I'll
is
share
your
it with
way
you.
of
We'll
saying
talk
I think
about
I
it.
just made something
No,
up.
no. I definitely saw it. I just don't know the full details of it. I'm like, I spoke out
So
of
we
turn.
have to talk for another
Spoke out of
25
turn.
minutes because they figured we'd do a 100-minute episode.
Okay.
I don't care. I'm just
I'm going to say, wow. I don't know if I have 25 minutes left in me. I must admit. What am I
But,
going to talk about
man,
now?
it's funny that I don't want to. Well, we can get into this in another podcast, but I watched a little mini doc on how vinyl is mixed and mastered,
Mhm.
and it's wow.
Yeah.
It's actually quite interesting. It's to get to the nuts and tits of it. When you're mastering something, you're either adding or taking away certain frequencies or certain other things to glue it together. Is
Right.
what we call it in the business. With analog, you actually have to take a lot of low end out because a lot of the low end artifacts are created by the turntable itself.
Mm.
The motor, the weight of the tone arm, the type of needle that's being used. So they take out like a whole bunch of low end. So if you were to listen to something that was mastered for vinyl on your iPod, it would sound like there was no bass whatsoever.
Huh.
Yeah, I thought that to be quite interesting.
That is neato.
So yeah, vinyl is an interesting animal. I would say it being
It endures.
It does. I
Literally more than every other format it endures.
it's I don't think
For over 100 years, it's endured.
I don't think it ever actually died.
Nah. Never
Oh
died.
no, it's not.
I don't.
dead. I'll agree on
Whereas,
that.
like, I'm going on your point. CDs,
Yeah.
like,
I mean, CDs are somewhat making a comeback, but not to the point that you're
I
seeing
think that's
CD
more
players.
I think that's
You know what
more
I
of
mean?
a nostalgic.
I think so too.
yeah,
Yeah.
Versus-
DVDs, CDs, these are all gone.
Yeah, they typically
Yeah, I think
are.
that's more of a nostalgic thing versus the vinyl thing,
Right.
Where you have the audiophile aspect of it,
Yeah.
as well as the nostalgic collector aspect of
Mhm.
it.
Absolutely.
Right? Whereas CDs, it's
Well, yeah, because that's one thing I will like
Dime a
always
dozen,
give
right?
vinyl, which is always that you never. Well, I shouldn't say never. It was you expected that you would have the vinyl.
Mhm.
There would be the book portion
Yep,
either in or part of the
liner
package.
notes,
Like this,
I have had the same
I miss those
album
experiences.
on vinyl and CD with the same packaging, right? Like
Are you air quoting?
Air
So everyone
quote,
knows
shut
you're air quoting?
the same quote packaging quote.
There you go.
no, start
Just edit
quote,
it,
end
post,
quote.
edit it, post, AJ.
even like a replicated, like I think I bought a CD Beatles album
Mhm.
CD 5-6 years ago or something like that.
Yeah,
And it was packaged the same way that the vinyl
Mm.
Oh,
was
that is
packaged,
nice.
right?
That's cool.
But I still felt like looking at and holding the record versus the CD was more gratifying.
Mhm.
I don't know why.
nice.
It's like
I have
You
no
have
good
a
answer.
you have a deeper appreciation. I guess, and a deeper connection.
It
Yeah.
could be the connection. I think it's going to be the connection.
See, I think that's the one thing about I won't say all media, but music for sure that those kids today are missing out on. I was actually having a conversation with a friend about this. When we were kids, you were lucky enough to have $15-20 to buy your CD, or if you have vinyl. You cherished your collection because not everybody had these giant CD collections.
Good point.
You had maybe your 5, 10, maybe 15, and that was it. You just really loved what you had, and every time you'd get a new CD,
Yep.
it was an experience.
Yep.
Let's go through everything. Like everyone always talks about how I'm obsessed with the inner workings of things, like why I want to know a thing. It all comes back to CDs because I would read their liner notes and I'd be like, who's this guy that produced this, and why is this guy? What do you mean he did whatever vocals, but he wasn't the same, whatever it might be. And
I was a big fan of that too. Yeah,
Yeah.
going through the actual booklet.
Yeah,
and
like
credits,
it made you
the credits.
deeper involved. At least for me, it
Mhm.
made you deeper involved with what they were doing, and I think helped just identify with it more. That's just something that doesn't really happen today.
It's something that's more of a, if you're interested in it, search it out.
yeah
Nowadays,
yeah.
right?
That's true,
Whereas
yeah.
before, it was more of you could get interested in it because you were looking at this physical.
Well, but
thing.
it still required that physical purchase because there was many people even back then that would just listen to the radio.
Yeah, but
yeah, it's true.
and they didn't know anything either.
Yeah,
So
that's
now
true.
the radio
I
is
think
just more digital.
I think that's going. I think that's separating your standard consumer to somebody who gives a shit, like Chris is talking about.
Oh well, no, I
Right?
would
Like your standard
fair.
consumer doesn't give a fuck,
True.
and like I get down on myself a lot sometimes, and a lot of other people in the audio industry that I know anyway will kind of get down on themselves, like, oh, this doesn't sound right, or this doesn't sit right, or this isn't doing this. This isn't how I want it. How
Right.
I want it. How I want it.
Exactly.
And I will never do this to myself, but I'll turn to them and say, that Buddy listening to it on Spotify doesn't give a fuck,
Exactly.
right?
Mhm.
The average consumer is, for lack of a better term, ignorant to that.
Correct. They're just
Right.
there to
I don't wanna
enjoy
say that
it
they're
as
stupid,
it is. Yeah, no.
But they're ignorant. They know what they like. They know what they don't like. If they don't like it, they don't like it. If they like it, they like it.
Yeah, and
They
they can
don't
never
like it
explain
because
it.
of this frequency, or because of this instrument,
Yeah,
or
no.
because of this.
They only like because the
Process
algorithm told
that you
them to
did.
listen to
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
But even as a teenager, like, sure, I enjoyed getting the odd CD and tapes.
Yes.
But yeah, it was just radio. And nowadays, for me personally, the radio has been replaced with the online services.
Yeah, see, I'm more of a. At one point in time, I was more of a physical music consumer.
Yeah. Well, I
I
was too, because it was one of the ways of getting what I wanted at the moment. But
I listen digitally out of convenience.
I-
But what I would
majority of
rather do, and I have to admit that I haven't done this in a long time. But yeah, I'd rather sit and listen through my records,
Yeah.
something like that. Actually, be able
My-
to sit there and look at this and not only choose it because I like the song, but because I like what I'm looking at.
Yeah.
Mm.
Right.
My favorite experiences in life I've shared with you, AJ. I've shared with you, Dave. Shared with our buddy BJ Carlos. Is sitting down with a brand new record that we're excited to hear. We've heard nothing about it, and you sit down and you listen.
Well, I've
Maybe
never done that with a record.
No,
CD.
record mean sorry, smart ass. I mean record by the recording artist, whatever they
Now,
put out,
if-
CD or not.
If
right?
we want to split tits, you mean album?
Sure,
Because
sure.
an album is a collection of records.
Okay, there we go. So I love doing that and then discussing it and going over it and and then little by little, the more you listen to it, the more it sinks in deeper and deeper and deeper.
Mhm.
And now because it's so readily available, people just skip by. And I mean, don't get me wrong, the cream that rises to the crop is much more prevalent these days, which I appreciate. I don't want just shit being fucking great all the time.
Why do you think Mad Moxie's has never released an album? Or
I
never-
could never
yeah.
tell you that. I don't know.
Because it doesn't make sense anymore.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Mhm.
It makes more sense to just release a bunch of singles.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Because that's how people are consuming
That's
shit.
typically it. Yeah.
People are consuming shit one song at a time, not
Right.
entire albums at a time, not going through an album and figuring out, I don't like this song, so I'm not going to listen to this song again. Next time it comes up, I'll just skip it.
Yeah.
No, they're just listening to either the popular song or the thing their buddy told them to listen to and this, that, and the
Yep.
other thing. And then, yeah, they might get to the next song, but because of that convenience and that ease of change, being able to change what's
no.
in front of you.
I have to admit, I agree, because for me personally, the only time I really hear new things, I will be honest, especially as an old man, is because Google Music, I put on my playlisty thing where
Yep.
it mixes what I like with random
Sure,
other
yep.
things. It's related.
You can thank
Yeah,
Pandora
no, same
for that.
same as Spotify.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
so.
same as Spotify.
There's things I've heard that I don't know
Man.
offhand. I'm like, oh, that's nice.
that happened to me, and it was it's really two young kids out of Toronto there, and big fans of their band now. Cleopatra is
Mhm.
what they're called,
Yeah.
Nice.
and it was one of those random. They
Yeah.
just came up when I was listening. I was probably listening to Royal Blood or something like that, and then I threw out
Yeah.
something that was similar. Like, holy fuck, these cats are good, man! And I've
Yeah.
been to a couple of their shows now, and yeah, but before that's not how that happened.
Oh God,
right?
no! The only way that would happen is radio.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But in order to get the radio, you already have to be growing, and it's that.
Yeah.
I still
Not
remember,
that it's any easier nowadays. But
I remember the days when programs
remember
like
the
that
days.
were not allowed in Canada because they were American owned. I'm thinking of Pandora,
Oh, yeah.
also known as the Music Genome Project,
I remember Pandora.
in which that's where I started to
I think you
do
introduced
that.
me to Pandora. Yeah.
Quite possibly. But then it was like not allowed in Canada for whatever reason. I'm not sure the reason why exactly. But it's interesting.
Oh, maybe Canadian artist numbers or something.
Possibly
yeah,
something.
I would say it had something to do with SOCAN and
Yeah.
SOCAN
Yeah.
not being involved
And
with
I
being able to
think
get the royalties. Or
Same
something.
thing. It was the first time I heard his Infernal Majesty and a whole bunch of other bands, and then it's continued to this day, which is cool now that it is accepted. But like we're talking about,
Oh no, it's
It
just
means
so can't
people
figure out
less-
how to get involved.
But is
Well,
it even
sure.
the same as it was? Because I think I think I remember you introducing me to it. It was more like tell us what you like, and we'll
I would just say
show
that
you other
technology
things.
has just been incorporated into
Yeah.
all the streaming
Oh,
platforms.
yeah,
out
Google
there.
for sure.
Absolutely, Google,
Google knows
Spotify,
when I need
Tidal.
to take a shit.
Yeah, they all do it.
I
Like
remember
they
that
all
was
know.
one, I
right?
remember when that was one of the only reasons I had a VPN was so I
Was
could
for
access
that. Yep.
Pandora.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yep, for sure. But so yeah, that technology is just in everything now. They just use it as a way to be like, hey, you like this? Maybe you like this.
Oh yeah, well,
I like it. I don't like it. Okay, well, let's try
Yeah.
this, and then they just keep
Yep.
going and on and on and on, which isn't a bad thing. I'm glad that it's out there, but it does cheapen the experience.
it
with
reminds
an
me
artist.
of something in which the day could come, 100 years from now, when you're just sitting there and you got your thing embedded in your brain, and you're not even making conscious choices. It's just adapting. It goes,
Yeah.
oh no, I should do this now.
Yeah.
Oh no, I should do this now.
Oh man, I just thought of that. 100 years from now, if for some reason, let's just say the EMP boom, and then for some reason electronics don't work, records will be the only way you'll be able to listen to music,
Mm-hmm.
because you could take a cup and a sewing needle and run it around a record and hear it.
That's true.
Mm.
That
It's one
is
of the
true.
only formats that you don't actually need electricity
To have it.
to use.
Well, maybe to use it proper, but you can make a
No,
sound.
no, they used to have cranks. Back in the day.
They still
it
do.
used to
Okay,
be
a crank I can
crank
accept.
on the side
just
of the
me
thing.
holding a paper cup. That is just more. That would be a challenge.
That seems like it would be a lot of work. Really.
I mean, it'd be a lot of
Sit
work,
here,
but if you
music?
really
Fuck
want,
that.
if you really
It's one
wanted
of
to
those
hear
things
a song,
I
and
must
make
admit,
yourself
I need to
happy-
now go find an old record and just play with that for shits and
I know.
giggles.
Now I just want to go fuck with it.
Well, they have. They're called mini record players, and they look like.
Oh, the
cars.
toys.
Yeah.
I remember.
They're not toys, man. You
No,
put
I
that on
remember
there.
the toy. Remember that toy as a kid where you could get little record things with the big, huge divots you could feel.
Oh,
with your
yeah, my
fingers.
kids got one of
right.
those, the Fisher Price.
Yes!
No.
I want one of those.
These are they're some of them look like hippie vans, like the VW Bug, and they have a little speaker on them,
Mhm.
and they have a little needle, and you wind it up, and it goes around in a circle. You put it on your record, and it'll play your record.
I want to see one of these fucking
No
things.
no electricity,
I've
no
never heard of
batteries.
this.
Yep, they're
No.
out there. Yep.
So yeah, it's
You can even get regular sized record players that are powered by crank. You can get those.
I don't want
well,
that. I want the little car thing.
originally Victrolas back in the
Sure,
day.
no, but I mean, even modernized versions, they have.
Yeah.
them now. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's like if that's something you really want.
Okay, now I'm a little intrigued. I want to see one of these.
Because
in
like
action.
if you put a record on a record player and you don't have your speakers turned on, you'll still hear it play. You'll still hear the music
That's
come
true.
off of it.
Yep, that is very true.
It's because again, it's one of the only things analog wise where it's the depth, the width,
Mhm.
the length of the grooves that are.
causing the sound.
If you look at a groove in a record,
Which
pointing
I
at
do.
the computer screen, if you were to,
It would look something like that.
it would
right.
it would look like this.
Yeah, something to that nature.
With a
Yeah.
spectrograph.
Yeah, left and right is no, it's a waveform.
Or waveform.
Right, left and right is volume. Depth, I believe, was frequency, like how high or how low
Yeah, nice.
the highs and lows would be.
Mm.
No, left and right is stereo. Sorry, up and down would be. Yeah, left and right was stereo.
You
Up
could
and down
say
was volume.
anything right
you
now.
Can say, diagonally, it happened to be a fucking chimera.
Can't
Like, oh
spell-
yeah, no, that's true,
Can't spell
AJ.
misinformation.
Okay, we all
Especially
know
about
though.
records.
What's most
'Cause
important?
we're
It
so-
has to be
so
60
informed.
RPMs. That's the important thing.
That's right.
60
60
RPMs.
if you wanted to sound like Alvin and the Chipmunks. Sure.
Well, gentlemen, do we want? We could spend another 100
I'm gonna
minutes
say,
talking.
Right,
about
we
now
could spend
vinyl.
How should we
hundreds
consider
of
our
more
100?
minutes.
I know. Do we want to talk anything else? 100 related?
I don't think so. I got way off track even in my brain.
I know. I do. Do you guys want to maybe say something to our 20s of fans out there about these 100 episodes? A personal message of any sort?
I've been having fun.
Good. That's good.
I don't know.
The new 10 of you should go back and listen to the other 99 episodes.
I
to
agree.
catch up.
I agree. That's it. That's your personal
Yeah.
message. It's like, hey, you should go listen to our old stuff. Let's.
No, or hey, let's make a challenge for our next 100. Get us 100 coffees.
Oh, that's a good idea.
So the
100
next time we
coffees.
have our 200. Yeah, but see, 200, nobody cares about that. They have to wait for the 1,000.
500.
All I have to say is what a long, strange trip it's been.
Hmm.
I didn't steal that from anywhere.
No, definitely not.
Definitely didn't steal it from that 70s show.
All right.
No, that was Dazed and Confused.
Oh, is that what that was?
Yeah.
Okay.
Have you checked out this 90s one
I
at
did.
all?
I've watched every
I've
episode.
watched every episode as well.
Is it that good?
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. They rely heavily on nostalgia, but it was
Let's-
fun for me.
We could break this down for a sec. Yeah, I enjoyed it. I hope if they have another season that the young actors get more comfortable. I feel like it was a
Sure.
little forced from the younger actors.
Hmm.
Kitty and Red, anything that had to do with
They
Kitty
were
and Red,
phenomenal.
fucking
All
best,
the returns,
best part of the entire
Yeah, okay.
show.
And
and
Kitty
all
Red.
the other castmates that came back, they were fantastic. They were
and
great.
there's
All right,
Maybe
so long story short,
one or
give it
two
a try.
arbitrary characters that
All right, give it a
Sure.
try.
aren't necessary.
I've been afraid to even look at it, so
Fun-
maybe I'll give it a try.
Fun fact: the duration of the show from when it took place in that 70s show
Mhm.
to when it aired in the 90s is actually a shorter time frame from when the show is made now about the 90s. for that 90s show. So whatever time frame, I can't remember the years are, but
Yeah,
whatever
because it would have only been like 20 years later.
right, and it's like 20 something
It's
years later.
been like, yeah,
yeah,
almost.
Oh, okay.
30
I
years
see the
since that
difference
70s
between
show
the
was
now.
first
Right.
on.
Gotcha. Okay.
yeah, that's what I meant to say.
Okay, I was like, I have no idea where you're attempting to go with this, Chris.
Yeah.
yeah. I think it's interesting.
Yeah,
It's like-
that 70s show was out in the 90s, but representing a time period that was only 20 years before it.
Yeah.
Whereas that 90s show is representing a time period which was like
almost
30 years ago.
Almost,
Yeah.
30 if you're depending on their start.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's crazy.
All right.
20
Yeah, I'll give it a
90s,
shot. All right. Well, on that note, I think I'm done because I'm going to go. I have a schedule to watch some 90s.
All right.
Yeah, I want to put some food in my tummy.
Okay.
Maybe 100 foods.
There, maybe 100 hot dogs.
At least 100
Sounds like
calories.
that
I would
sounds like
suggest that.
sex
Definitely
tape.
100 calories.
Definitely 100
In fact, you know what? Maybe a couple more than
Maybe
even
a couple more.
Maybe. Yeah.
Maybe a couple.
a couple
Tonight at
hundred baby
least.
quiches.
There-
Baby
And you out
quiche.
there, thanks so much for joining us for our 100th episode. We want to hear from you. Let us know your thoughts on the topics that we talked about today and beyond. What's a 100 to you? Let us know in the comments. We want to hear from you. And if you like what we're doing, to Dave's credit, buy us a coffee. We got ourselves a little buy me a coffee
100.
link. Get us onto our 100 coffees for by the time we get to our 200th episode. That'd be greatly appreciated. We thank you for donating there.
And if you're the first person to buy us a coffee, if you're the same person to buy us that 100th coffee, you'll get a prize.
You get a prize.
You have to be the first.
You have to be the
first.
first and
In
the
the
last.
It
though.
might be
Yeah.
a coffee. The prize might be a coffee.
I'm
Oh,
not
no,
saying-
no,
I'm
no,
not
no,
saying- I'm not giving the value.
Don't diminish.
For sure. And if you're out there, you're feeling a little off mentally, we just want to let you know it's 2023. You're not alone. There's a lot of people, if not everybody, that feels the way you do. You matter, not just to us, but to those that are around you. And it's important to talk about the stuff that's going on mentally. So if you can't do that with anybody that's around you, we're going to have some links in our description so you can seek out the help that you might need. But until next time, I've been Harvey.
I'm Dave.
Happy birthday, us.
Happy birthday, us!
I
We're
wasn't
seniors
birthed.
now.
I wasn't birthed 100 days ago.
Yeah, but this was.
Oh, this.
This was
Ah.
birthed
Yeah,
100
It
days
came
ago.
out 100 years.
Wow. Okay. And on that note, you just got yourself sarcastically distracted.
Sarcastically disgusting.
Oh, I think AJ is now mortified. Thanks so much for spending 100 episodes with us. Here's to 100 more. Have a wonderful day. Peace.
Bye, Mom. I love you. I mean, bye, guys.
Take care, all.